Hello, I'm Charles Reed, CPA and President of Get Payroll. Businesses are required to get an I-9 form from every worker they hire. This document is designed to reduce the likelihood of unauthorized workers getting hired in the United States. If someone willingly violates this immigration measure, they can face hefty penalties for just the first offense. Because I-9 audits can happen, it is important to make sure that your company is fully prepared. We have compiled the 9 most frequent I-9 mistakes for employers and employees. Let's review them so you know what to avoid. Number 1. You requested specific identification documents. This is by far one of the most common mistakes. When a new hire tries to fill out their I-9, the list of required documents seems daunting. Sometimes managers will just tell them to bring in a driver's license and social security card. However, this is a major mistake. If there's an I-9 audit, the auditor will notice that every employee has turned in the exact same type of identification. Because it's unlikely that every single employee would give you the exact same documents, this could open you up to discrimination issues. Number 2, the forms weren't filled out in time. Timeliness is another major mistake when it comes to Form I-9. After the worker comes in for their first day, you have exactly 3 days to fill out the form. If this form isn't completed by the 4th day, you are no longer in compliance. It is important to have a sense of urgency for getting Form I-9, or any employee form for that matter, filled out in a timely manner. Number 3, there are missing dates or signatures. This is fairly common, unfortunately. There are several locations on the form that need to be dated and signed. While this mistake may be unintentional, it still prevents proper compliance with this rule. Employees will need to sign and date Section 1 of the I-9. Then there are lines for the employers to sign and date in Section 2 and 3. Number 4, having untrained employees handling internal I-9 audits. Whoever handles your I-9 audit should be trained on what to look for and how to correct mistakes. Internal audits are important because they show your company's efforts to be in compliance. However, for this audit to be effective, employees must know what they are doing. If you are having an untrained employee review and correct these records, it could lead to compliance issues. Without meaning to, they can miss obvious errors or make errors in how they correct documents. Number 5, I-9s are missing. Form I-9 was first created in 1986. Starting this year, every employee was required to fill out one of those forms. As an employer, you must keep a worker's I-9 on file for either 3 years after the hire date or 1 year after the termination date, depending on which one is later. Number 6, there's a record of over-documentation. You only need to get the required documentation from your workers. Sometimes, employers will do List C when List A is already done and gather too much documentation. This can trigger an investigation from the Department of Justice's Immigration and Employees' Rights Team because over-documentation is a common indicator of discrimination cases. Number 7, you filled out I-9s before an offer of employment. While it is important to get I-9s filled out, you should never get them filled out early. Legally, I-9 should only be completed after an offer of employment has been made. Number 8, a manager accepted an expired document. Sometimes a manager will accept a document without realizing it's expired. To prevent this issue, train management staff to carefully check expiration dates on each document. Number 9, the employee provided photocopies of their documents. When filling out the I-9, managers should never accept photocopies of an employee's documents. Your worker needs to bring in the actual documents. The only exception to this rule is birth certificates, because you can accept a certified copy of a birth certificate. Form I-9 doesn't require you to photocopy the documents you are given. However, if you decide to photocopy these documents for your I-9 compliance records, you must be consistent and photocopy every employee's records. If you are subject of an I-9 audit, there are a few factors that can increase or mitigate penalties you face. Business size, history of compliance, good faith in following the law, the seriousness of the non-compliance issues, unauthorized workers, cumulative adjustment. As of the time of this video, here are monetary fines for non-compliance penalties. It is important to remember these charges are per person. If you employ 15 people unlawfully, you must multiply the penalty by 15. Because of this, the penalties for non-compliance can quickly add up. Companies are better at I-9 compliance when they take the time to understand and follow the law. Additionally, I-9 compliance helps them avoid hefty penalties and lawsuits. By learning more about your I-9 requirements, you can help your business stay in compliance. If you're interested in learning more about the best onboarding practices, reach out to our team of small business HR and payroll experts today. Be on the lookout for the next video in this series. Subscribe to our channel so you do not miss out. I'm Charles Reed with Get Payroll. Thanks for listening.